gonna be me simulating, setting up my training area. So I brought a 1 in 50,000 scale, map of Fort Belvoir. I'm gonna have my my test out sheet. Then I'm gonna have my notebook. I also brought out a protractor, writing utensil for the soldiers, and then my brief. Alright, so I'm going to set this all up so it doesn't fly all over the place. Don't want to mess up our environment. Alright, good afternoon, my name is Specialist Turley. Today we're going to be determining a grid azimuth using a protractor. Alright, the conditions are going to be you're a member of a squad or a team that has received an order requiring movement. You have been directed to determine the grid azimuth from the starting point and ending point designated in that order. You have a 1 in 50,000 scale military map, a military protractor, a writing utensil, and paper, all of which I've provided for you guys. The standards are going to be identify the start point and end point on the map. Then we're going to draw a straight line on the map connecting the points. Align the protractor to the map and determine the value of the angle. That's what we're going to be doing today. Alright, there is no special conditions. The safety risk is low. I reconned the area before you guys came out here today. The training area, I should say. I checked for some fire ants around our table today. I did not see any fire ants out here today. I also came back. I checked for poison ivy. There's no poison ivy in the area, so we should be good to train today. Alright. So let's go ahead and get the training started. Alright. So the first thing I want my soldiers to do is orient themselves to the map. That's the most important thing that you should always do anytime you're doing something that has a map. So identify your true north. We've already got our true north identified, all right. Okay, so today I'm determining a grid azimuth, which our goal is we're gonna find a start point and an end point and determine what the azimuth is on that, okay? So for training purposes, I'm gonna give a start point and an end point, and then I would have my soldiers practice it and then brief me. But since we're doing this without soldiers, I'm just gonna tell you how it's gonna be done today. All right, so I'm gonna identify a start point. I've already wrote down the coordinates for a start point. My first start point is gonna be 2187, and my end point is gonna be 2288. So I'm gonna have my soldiers do this with me. I'm gonna have them find their start point of 2187. Hopefully they found the start point, then we're gonna mark it together. So we mark it, boom. Now we're gonna come back, we're gonna find our end point. Find our end point of 2288, mark it, boom. Now step 3 is step 2, we're going to draw a straight line connecting these points. So we got our straight line being drawn. Boom, boom, boom. All right, now here comes the important part. I'm gonna explain to my soldiers that we're gonna use the interscale for this map today. The interscale, not to insult anyone's intelligence, it's gonna be this side right here, the inside scale, not the outer. The reason why this is important is because you're not gonna get an accurate azimuth reading if you do the outside scale, okay? I also want my soldiers to understand that north needs to always be centered with the center of the protractor, okay? So if you have your protractor facing correctly, the 0 should always point north, the 90 should always point east. They're very important. All right, so we're gonna center our protractor on our first point. Bam. Always important to identify what the correct start point and what the correct end point is. If you give them if you start with the end point and go to your start point, you're gonna have a 180-degree difference. You could do it that way, but there's math there. There's no reason to do it like that, all right? So, taking a blank piece of paper or just a piece of paper in general, we can slide right under here. So center our protractor. Get that piece of paper, The reason why you want to use a piece of paper is so that way you can follow your line directly without having to ruining your map. All right, so after having the piece of paper and everything centered, boom, 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 we ended up with 41 degrees. Now at this time, I'm gonna give my soldiers 5 minutes to practice. So I'm gonna go use a whiteboard, a piece of paper. I'm gonna give them another 4-digit coordinates with start point and end point. So after I give them their new start point and end point, I'm expecting them to be able to do this correctly. I'm gonna give them 3 minutes to practice this. After I give them 3 minutes to practice it, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna check over everyone's work. If I notice that there's a soldier that needs retrained on this, I'm gonna go back with him for 3 minutes and retrain him. All right, hopefully at this time, the soldier now has identified his deficiencies and has been able to correct himself. All right, so I have my test right here. From a soldier to pass the test today, he must receive goes on all these performance measures. It's going to be identifying a start point on a map, identify a right end point on the map, draw a straight line on the map connecting the 2 points, and then giving me a correct azimuth on these 2 points. So once a soldier tells me that he does it, after all the soldiers get done doing it, this test should only take them 5 minutes. Now after they get done testing, I'm going to come back to them and retrain the soldiers that need further training. I'm going to give these soldiers 3 minutes to retest. After they have retest, hopefully that they have it completed. After I get done with all this, I'm going to gather all the work that we have out here today, determine my soldiers that are trained, need practice, or untrained, get all my information we have out here today, get it all bundled up. So I'm gonna give my Joes 3 minutes to clean their work area or their training area. After they get done cleaning their training area, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna reassess the area. All right, it looks pretty clean to me. I'm gonna gather all my Joes together now. We're gonna do an AAR. So after this AAR, we're gonna see what we should sustain, what we should improve on, what we can do to make the training overall better. After I get done doing this, I'm gonna check with the risk assessment that I had earlier. So I came and I reconned the area to check for fire ants, and I came and I reconned the area and checked for poison ivy. Hopefully none of the soldiers had issues with any of that. After I get done checking the area, give my AARs, and checking with my troops, now I'm gonna report my assessment to my commander. I'm gonna report to the commander how many soldiers I had trained. I'm going to report how many soldiers need more practice and how many soldiers need untrained. This should conclude my individual training session.